There we go. Okay. Right. Hello, everyone. Sorry to keep you waiting. Just want to say hi to everyone joining the live chat and double check I'm not muted because I'm paranoid like that. 2 secs. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. So this is different. So hello again, everyone. Welcome to chat. Thanks for joining us. This is GCROCK Let's Talk. Basically, we announced this a few weeks ago when we did my 30,000 subscriber stream. And the idea of the show, I thought, was to give you, our community, more engagement from ourselves, a little bit of background information, and a place to ask us questions as well. We never do Q&As or anything like that. It's always playing games and stuff. So we thought we'd have this space once every 2 weeks, up to an hour, to get a few guests in, get to know more about them, speak about their community story, speak about a topic as well, and have a Q&A. So as I just said, every show is going to follow the same format. We'll always go live every 2 weeks. We'll have two community members in. One of them is going to be like a team member, like an admin or somebody, and we'll make someone else make sure we get a community member in or supporter in. I'll share the story with you. We'll move on to the topic of discussion. Tonight, we're actually going to be talking about toxicity within our community and how we manage that. I think that's something current, that will be good to share with you all and to give you our insight. And then after that, we'll end with a Q&A. The session should last around about an hour. I wouldn't think it'd be too much longer than that, or give or take, around about an hour. And we'll answer as many questions as we can. If you're a supporter, we put a post out earlier today. We'll prioritize some supporter questions. I've seen a few already, some good questions we've got to answer later. I'll also take some questions from stream chat as well, because this is live. And just before we do start as well, this is also going to be a podcast series. We're starting some podcasts, and this will be our very first one. So if you are listening via podcast, be sure to check us out on YouTube and Discord by searching GC Rock and come and show us some support. We'd love you to get more involved with us. So our guest tonight, our community head admin Penny, who I know a lot of you are wanting to see in here, and Wisthanton. Probably pronounced that wrong, sorry. But Paul, I'm going to call you. I've already asked if that's okay. But how are you guys? They're here now. They're with us. We can see Paul live on cam. Nice for a face to the name. How are you guys doing? Hello. Hello, Penny.
Hi.
Hi. So we're going to start with you, Penny. Okay?
Of course.
So the first part of this Let's Talk is getting to know more about you. So Penny, we just want your community story, how you found us, how you got where you are. And I think a lot of people want to know exactly what you do.
Nothing. That's it. Just nothing. And that's all there is. Paul, on to you. I'm joking. Well, I played a lot of Division 1, and I remember doing incursions, and I met a lovely man called Lox. You remember Lox?
I remember Lox. Great guy.
Yeah. He played a lot with me, and then when Division 2 came out, he was telling me about you, a lot about you, actually, like, because he taught me how to play survival and such, and he said that he learnt through you. And when Division 2 came out and we heard that there were clans, there was just like 6 of us, and we were just going to make our own bullshit little clan just to take the piss, just a couple of friends. And Lox was like, they're doing this clan because you get rewards. And it was like, rewards? We want rewards. So he was like, you need to join the Discord. And I did. And I mean, I joined the Discord way back when yous would type good morning at everyone post. That's how long I've been around. But yeah, we had
Imagine
to
the scenes now.
Oh my god, there'd be carnage. There'd be absolute fucking carnage.
At everyone, good morning.
It was literally every morning at like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. It'd be good morning at everyone, and it was nice. It was a real nice personal touch. It felt personal. It didn't feel like I was just another number. Like, I felt part of the furniture, and I loved it. And as you're very aware, I'm quite intimidated by male gamers, just because it's not fun to be a female gamer. Any other female can completely agree with me on this. There is, I'm not saying everyone, definitely not everyone, but there is a majority of male gamers who are very disrespectful towards female gamers. But coming into your community, there was never any of that. I felt like just a human, and it was nice to feel like that. So that's sort of how I found the community. I think I met you the first time doing the hunter. I believe that
I
was
remember
right.
that. I
Yeah.
remember that. That was a good few hours, wasn't it?
Oh my god,
First
that
time I
was
heard you
horrible.
scream.
Oh yeah, my bad. But I was excited because we spent so long trying to kill that hunter. But no, I played with you. I think we played that once, and you went about your business, I went about my business, and then the raid sort of came out, and we merged teams together, and we became friends through that more than anything because we merged the teams. We spent a lot of time with each other, and the more time I spent with you, I realized that you needed a lot more like you needed stronger people behind you than what you had. I don't mean that horribly, but
No, you're 110% right with that, though.
right?
Oh my God.
I don't mean to be horrible because people were doing the best that they could do at that point, but they
Debatable.
okay, debatable. Like, but it just felt like they were drowning with the amount of stuff that was happening and pulling you down with them. And
Mm.
you know, I think I stepped in as an interim admin when an admin took a brief period of absence, and then you were like, I need an admin that's going to stick around. Will you be admin? And I was like, if that's what you want, I'm happy to do that. And then from there, you kept on pestering me to be a head admin, and I kept telling you no. And now you basically just said, "This is yours." You
This
stopped
is
asking.
yours.
You
Yeah.
stopped asking, and you've essentially just gone. There's no point in asking because she's gonna say no, so I'm gonna just tell her. That's what
Yeah.
you did. But I always said to you, like, I won't ask for things. You essentially will have to tell me. Like, if it's definitely what you want, then that's what you should do.
Mhm.
Um, within the community, I basically honestly don't really do much because you've got some good admins in place. Like, they're
We do
doing
have
good
good
stuff.
structure now, don't we? We do have
Yeah,
very
it's
good structure. But you're the head
yeah,
of that. You're the boss.
yeah, I
And
know.
there's been,
But
you say
I've
you
also
don't do
learned.
anything, but there's times recently where I've kind of been hitting brick walls and I've had to phone you and vent at you for an hour for shit to get done. And it's got done. So you do.
I yeah, I'm kind of more of a behind the scenes person. Like, I'm more of the morale booster and the ideas guy. Like, I think Max and Incoming put it really well in Minecraft. Like, they're the technical buildy side. I'm the crazy ideas person. But like,
Mhm.
I've recently been doing a lot more Discord maintenance, doing the things that you've required.
Mhm.
Because I've got quite an easy life. Like, I can do things quite quickly. But like I said, like, the structure that's in place, like, nothing gets past fucking Spud. Nothing.
Nothing.
Like, nothing comes to us anymore. It's a fucking dream. But it used to be that every tiny little thing came to us and we'd spend a bit of time arguing about it until obviously we came to a conclusion. Whereas now, Spud just feels like this security guard, right?
Mhm.
But I just make sure I don't want to. This sounds really bad, but I kind of make sure all of the admins are doing what all of the admins should be doing more than anything. I want to say, like, just sort of like I'm like an overseer. I'm like, you okay? What's going on? Talk to mama.
Yeah, and we find out where support's needed, like,
Yeah.
and we at the end of the day, the community's big now. We came to realize that a long time ago that it was big, but it's getting bigger and bigger. It ain't stopping, right? So we knew we needed to take it serious, and you make sure we take it serious.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's we have the option. We can either be reactive when things happen, or we can be productive and pre-plan. And you found out a very long time ago that things are a lot easier when we pre-plan for the future.
Hmm.
Like, I think that's what was happening with you when I first started raiding with you. Was it was reactive. It wasn't like, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Proactive. Proactive, is
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called?
Be proactive, not
Yeah,
reactive. Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah. Like, they do things as and when things were happening, whereas you were like, no, things are happening and they're going to keep happening. We need to have things set in place specifically so we don't get dragged down and dragged under, and all of a sudden we're all left behind running around like headless chickens. And you were essentially the one who sort of built that into all of your head admins. Like,
Mm.
I mean, you know what Night Violet said the other day about world domination. It's about being, proactive and going, right, Division's going to drop a massive update. What do we need for this massive update? And it's you that instilled that in us, right? Because otherwise we work as well as our namesake works, which is you. Like, the community will not grow without you as a content creator, right? Don't pull that face. Don't pull that face.
No, it's yeah. But there has become elements of self-sufficiency about it. Like a lot of people put so much in now. We're now actually working the new social media side of it. We're working and putting that to the test. How much can you guys grow this community now? Because you can. And we see it is happening. Obviously, the biggest amount of growth comes from the GCROCK channel because it's 30,000 subs. We get thousands of hits a stream. We promote all the time. Every single video I do, we promote the community. So it's obviously the biggest growth we have. But a lot of growth does come from the community itself now at the same time. So that's why the face was pulled. But yeah, I agree with you.
But it wouldn't exist if you didn't build this. This is your
of course,
dream, right?
Of course.
We wouldn't exist without our Lord and Savior GCROCK.
Shut up.
This is genuinely probably what 99% of our phone conversations are. Me just singing his praises because I'm such a nice person.
And then in stream we hate each other because we just need to. It's got to be.
Yeah. It's just how it's got to be. Like.
No, I get you. I do. But no, it's what you were saying there, like we can be proactive, especially because the channel grows most of the community. I know when I'm going to be busy. I've got all the trends. I study the trends. I study my stats a lot. And I know how big Warlords of New York was. So I know how big Heartland's going to be. I know how big the next Division 2 update's going to be. I know we've got to be proactive now before they hit, because I know how much we're going to explode when they hit. So I get what you're saying. And that's what we need to do. That's what we do. And you make sure.
I don't know any of that. I look to you to tell me, when things need to start moving. Because I'm not like, I'm smarter than you, but when it comes to like all of the YouTube stuff and all the updates and what's going to happen with this community, you've got a very good like third eye with regards to it, right? Whereas me, I'm like, are you sure? And then all of a sudden it booms. Whenever you have said we're going to have a boom, we've had a boom. You just know.
Yeah, that goes with studying stats for so long. And like we said, with the channel being the main growth mechanism of the community, it just goes hand in hand. When I boom, the community booms. And I know when I'm going to boom. So that's how it works.
Which brings me back to, we couldn't do it without you, G. Thank you. Full circle.
More about you though, Penny. It's meant to be more about you. So that's what you do. That's what you got there. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
I don't really know. Like, it's just, there is a lot that happens and happened, and it's like, I don't know what people want to know. Like, what do they want to know?
And well, we're gonna get to Q&A at the end, so if you want, we'll leave it there. We'll move on to Paul. There's one thing I do want to add. You mentioned our friendship, and like, I don't think you went into. Well, you won't have went into it, but I just want to add how much of an effect you had during those days, especially when I was that lost. Early days, like you were there on the phone every day, messages, phone calls, whatnot. The support you gave was amazing to get through a period of all I had around me was toxicity. And I had to get rid of it. It was the hardest thing in the world. Some of these people I called best friends, but they were the most toxic people I had around me. And that was the toughest part about all of this. And without you at that time, don't know where this would be. No lie. So you had such a big impact there. And that's why you are where you are now. From day to this day, like you've always been that person. And it's good. Thank you. But Paul,
I don't think.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, just to quickly interject. I don't think people see, like, I never knew this myself before you, but I look at people on YouTube and people on Twitch, and for me, they're entertainment, right? But as a viewer, like, I don't think viewers take a sit back and go, this is a real human being with real feelings, not a robot. And I learned that firsthand from you, because you were being like impacted greatly by, you know, people's words and people, you know, people who you called friends. And you didn't need somebody else to pester you. You just needed a friend who would listen and, you know, just give you a few words of, you know, I don't know, like to boost up your morale. That's all I ever wanted to be, was just something to cheer you up. And I mean, you've lost a lot from this, and I think people seem to forget that, you know. And you're a human, you're not a robot, you have feelings. So any little prick who's writing shitty comments, just remember all you're doing is boosting his stats. That prick that you don't like, you're boosting his stats. Good job, you. Sorry. I'm like really defensive of you. I'm like a fucking guard dog.
I was glad Locks introduced us, Penny, because this community, I don't know.
Well.
It was a turning point, put it that way. And apparently she's here forever. So look
Yeah, you
forward
ain't
to
getting
that.
rid of me. We're moving in together as well.
Maybe.
Gaming house.
Maybe. Okay, so Paul, your turn next, bro. So you've been a supporter for a long time. You've grown within the community. You are now TCT member. You're clan manager, I believe. You've just
I'm not
been huge. You know, no. I noticed you were changing your lighting while we were going there, like Penny asked you to as well.
I've
Giggle.
got to find the right light that complements my features,
Yeah.
haven't I?
Well, it's great to put a face to the name, like we said before. But Paul, same as Penny, what's your story? How'd you find the community? What's it meant to you? How have you grown? What do you do? Let the guys know.
Yeah, so I was getting a bit emotional then, to be honest, listening to you two. It's really sweet, isn't it? And I've not been playing Xbox or any sort of games for that long, really. I moved in with my current housemate, lovely chap called Andy, who's hopefully listening. And he had an Xbox, and I said, "Oh, do you mind if I have a go?" And he just happened to have Division 1 knocking about. So I put it in, nearly gave up after the tutorial. So I thought, bloody hell, this is difficult. But I stayed with it. And in the end, I had to buy my own Xbox. So I was just using his pretty much all the time. So I got really into Division 1. It's the first game I've ever really played. So it's before I realised that there were like YouTube content creators such as yourself. So I was just like muddling my way through it. I didn't even know what builds were. So somehow I managed to get to end game. And then I stopped playing for a bit. And then obviously events of the last couple of years happened, found myself on furlough, and honestly thought, God, I don't know what to do. I thought I was really having difficulty with just day-to-day life, basically. And I thought, oh, I'll get an Xbox again. Got into Division 2. Then I just so happened to matchmake with some random guy who said, oh, you ought to have a look at GCROCK. He's got some good build videos. He'll help you out. So I did, and the first video I came across of yours was one, forget what it was about, but it was one where in your intro you were saying about I think it was a son of a friend of yours that was getting a lot of bullying, and you sort of put out just a message really about toxicity in general and just being nice to each other, and that really touched me. And I thought, oh wow, seems like a nice chat. So I downloaded the Discord and didn't look back. Those first few weeks of obviously being on furlough were extremely difficult, and I just felt, well, quite alone really. But then all of a sudden I had like 12,000 plus members of this community to interact with, and made some really good friends actually. A few have left and moved on, as is normal with this sort of thing. I've really enjoyed it, obviously in the last few weeks especially, with all the raid streaming. I've really enjoyed being a part of that. And hopefully sort of grow in my role as clan leader. I mean, there's not a lot going on in my clan that I need to step in with, which is great. So I just have fun, play with guys as much as I can. And it's just, to say changed my life is a little bit dramatic, I suppose, but it has greatly enhanced my life and given me a focus when I'm not working. So, yeah, really enjoying being a part of it.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. So much of the feedback I love is that like the community's made a difference to people.
Absolutely.
And I was in that spell last year. Like even my own community I built was a difference to me. I saw it firsthand what it can do, and yeah, it's incredible. Just having a place where you can make those friendships. I don't know. What we built is the feedback, like you've just said there, is truly incredible. It really is. And it's great what you're doing. It's great having you part of the team. I really enjoy our raid streams. Your team GC now as well. So how long ago was it that you found us through that video? I thought you'd been with us longer than that.
No,
It felt
it
like
was
you've been with us for
March.
ages.
Yeah, it seems like.
Push to talk, Paul.
Oh, I'm pressing it. Fingers. My sausage fingers keep knocking it off for some reason. I don't know why. It's. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mhm.
Oh, good. Yeah, it keeps disappearing for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, it's only probably March, April of 2020 that I
Okay,
came
it's
across
over a
you.
year now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Penny, do you have any questions for Paul? Before you just said anything to add?
I want to probe. I want to probe a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you might
Early on,
want
it's a Sunday night, Penny.
Oh my god, Paul, stop it. Like, to me, you seem like I've said this to you multiple times, and I've said it to as many people as I know about you. You are such a happy, down to earth guy.
Thank you.
At what point did the community help you? Like, you don't seem like you need that help, but again, nobody seems like they need help. But like,
No. I think, without getting too deep about it, the thing with mental health and depression is that a lot of people are very good at hiding it. And I'm not saying that I'm like in need of serious help, because I'm not, but I just felt a little bit down, when Corona first hit, and then we found out that we wasn't going to be working. I thought, oh my God, I've just like literally got myself back on my feet. Didn't have any debt or rent arrears for the first time in a long time. And I thought, oh, it's just going to all crumble down. And then obviously nobody really knew what was going on back in March of last year, did they? And luckily, furlough scheme massively helped. I'm an estate agent, and for some reason, like the housing market just exploded. So I was very fortunate, and I'm very aware that there's a lot of people that weren't as fortunate as myself. But yeah, I mean, those first sort of 2-3 months when we was closed down, it was just horrible because I couldn't go and see my friends. I lived with a lovely girl at the time as my housemate, and she, although we got on, we didn't really have the same interests, so it was really difficult suddenly being locked into a house together. So to suddenly, like I say, come across 12,000+ members of a community that, funnily enough, all have the same interests, it was fantastic. I just lost 8-9 hours a day just running around New York, like shooting shit with people, and just having the greatest time. So, and that like really helped. And yeah, I'm obviously back at work again, have been for some time now, but it's still great to have that community of people. Like G was saying about the Team GC, I've really enjoyed that. And I think that's the thing I love most about this community, is the fact that no matter where you are in the game, no matter what you want to do, there's always someone around to help out. And having the opportunity to help folks out, like even if it's just getting a hunter's mask or anything like that, it's just incredible, really.
That's great.
I'm glad you found like a bit of a home. It feels like a home, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
One really big, weird 12,000. Well, it's not even 12,000. It was
Nearly
like 15,000 man strong
Wow.
family. Yeah.
15,000.
That's what it's about. It's about building friendships. It's glad to see, firsthand yourself. You came into this community, you built those friendships, and it's helped you. And it's good. And it starts, I feel like the reason why it works like that is because of how we do manage it. It's a topic of discussion for this chat. We make it inclusive. It's the biggest, like I suffer with mental health, depression, and it's rough. And if you have mental health issues, sometimes the smallest thing can just throw you. Some people can just be being a jerk, and it could just be acceptable in so many other communities. But for someone like ourselves, it could really be just make us not want to engage in it. We don't want to engage with stuff like that. So we were really hell bent on just not allowing, respectful to everybody. Speak to people how you'd like to be spoke to. We manage all levels of toxicity within the community, and that I feel is what provides that, you know. It enables the community to be fully inclusive and just allows people to be themselves without fear of some knobhead posting after you all the time or something, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So moving on then, we've had our intros. I'm trying to think of any other questions for you, Paul, before we do move on. But I think you're pretty much... Now, is there anything else you want to say before we move on to the topic of discussion?
I don't think so, no, because the other bit I want to say is about toxicity. So,
Which is
I'll
next
save
up.
that
I'm going to
for-
let you go first, as I said. So the discussion is managing toxicity within our communities. We're going to go into the discussion phase now. Now, the reason I brought this up and why I want to discuss this today, when we do these chats every 2 weeks, I want to discuss something that's current, something that the community may have felt recently or want answers for. And this is definitely something that I know people want answers for. I still have messages to today for something that happened quite recently. And, you know, it is managing toxicity within the community, how we do that. It'd be interesting to see from your perspective, Paul, being a member, not on the admin team, so you've not been involved in any of that big like decision sort of related to big decisions. You've just seen it from a member perspective. You may have saw levels of toxicity. You might have been involved yourself in some toxicity, or you might have had toxic behavior around you. So how do you feel? I guess the question is, how well do you feel the community manages toxicity? Have you been involved in anything in your time with us? Do we do a good job of it? Just what are your thoughts, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to go a step back about a week or two before I joined the community, I'd realised that there was raids to do. So I didn't even realise that there were raids when I first started playing. Oh, no, it grayed off again. There we go. And I thought, no, that sounds like quite good fun. So I discovered like the looking for group, just a... Oh, God, sorry, just looking for group thing. So I joined a couple of raids and that, and I was absolutely shocked, having never gamed before, never sort of had a headset or spoke to other people on Xbox Live or whatever they call it now. Before, I was shocked at just the sheer volume of horrible people that there were. Like, I'd never done a raid before. I didn't know what a raid build was at this time, so I just turned up with whatever fancy set of gear I thought looked the best. And they were absolutely horrible. It was... I nearly just quit there and then and thought, oh, this clearly isn't for me. So coming into sort of your community, or our community, I suppose, as it is now, I saw a post from Strudel saying looking for a FTC for Dark Owls, and I thought, oh no, I don't really want to get involved in that again. But I thought, right, let's give it a go. And I have to say, the difference is like night and day. I think it was Strudel, Father Time, I think TJ was in there as well. And it was like the first raid I'd done. I told them that, and it was just wonderful. It was really, really good. And that really gave me a I don't know, a really sort of first positive experience. Since then, I've not really come across any massively high levels of toxicity within our community. There's sometimes I've put together sort of a new team and tried to take people for a raid, and there's been the odd person that has maybe sort of got a bit shouty or got a bit overly carried away. But it's great because other members of the raid group at the time, like, whoa, just calm down a bit, take a step back, it's only a game. And they did, they apologised and got on with it, which I just thought was great. Obviously, there's been I've seen some comments in the Discord where folks have decided to leave and maybe had a bit of a overly dramatic exit. But I think that is sort of the exception rather than the rule, which is great, really, because you would have thought from almost 15,000 people strong that there would be more issues, and maybe there are. Maybe it's managed so well that we don't get to find out about that. But it's just lovely because I just know that any time of the day or night you can jump on a group and 99% of the time have absolutely no issues. And in fact, not only do you not have any issues, but people are overly helpful and overly friendly, which is what you want, really. We all play the game for fun. None of us, well, apart from yourself, are like sort of professionally invested in the game, and that's what you want. You don't want to be having a long day at work to come back to having shit on an Xbox game, and it's just incredible. So I think hats off to yourselves and all the admins, mods must do an extremely good job at keeping it away from us. That's how I don't really witness anything.
That's great to hear, because I feel that admins do such a great job. Like I used to be the forefront of it all. I actually quit last year. I was like, I'm not admin anymore. So I told Penny, it's yours.
He did. He did.
I did. I was like, it's yours. It's like, it's YouTube or Discord, and I want to do YouTube. So if you don't want to do it, someone else is having it, because I'm done with it.
It was like we had a divorce, isn't it? You were like, I'll take the YouTube, you have the Discord.
It was
He
splitting
also
it.
gave me a wage.
Oh, no.
Joking. There's no wages, maybe.
There's no wage yet. If ever it gets that big, I think Penny's the first on the payroll. I think everyone expects that. But like, it's great to see, because there is a lot of toxicity. There's a comment in the live chat now, 15k people. Not everybody's going to get on. That's a fact. They've been here since level 30 raids, met people from different countries, religions. What we may find humorous in the UK isn't always the same abroad. And that's a great point. And that's something that our admins have to think about all the time. We get complaints after complaints after complaints, and there's so much behind the scenes we have to think about and discuss, from all different religions, or even just like morals, different, a bit of everything. There's so much to go. So when there's a serious, like, there's complaints that were just like, what the hell is this? Like, is it even a complaint? But then there's complaints that are really serious, and we've got to make decisions. And I think sometimes it's great that you, as in the position you are, Paul, don't you say you hardly see anything, which is really good, because we always worked on the basis that if there's anything to discuss or manage, we do it behind closed doors. Why make it a community-wide issue? It's you got to know, only on a need to know basis as such. If you're going to be involved in it, let's not like highlight everything to the community that's going on. Let's do it behind closed doors. Everybody else stay out of it. Nobody wants to be involved in the toxicity. We can manage this with as small amount of people as possible. But the admin team do so much. I think some people think it's just sometimes one person saying yeah or no, and it's not. And that's where I'm Penny. Exactly. And I'd like now your view, Penny. I'd like you to explain, if there's any examples. You've been an admin for a while now. Even before admin, you were practically my number 2 anyway. I told you everything. You helped me with everything. Is there any examples around this that you have to share the community on, and just highlight how our admins manage stuff, give some sort of insight behind the scenes of what obviously we're not going to be name calling today. We will use examples though. And is there anything you could share with the community? I'd like you to, just emphasize on just how hard it is for our admins and how good of a job they do.
Oh, for sure. So I'm going to merge 2 examples into one. There is a recent example where it wasn't just a decision based on me, even though I was the one who was sending the message out. I understand that there needs to be a bad guy. And I don't mean it horribly, but nobody knows me and I don't know anybody. I just know your names. I know you play games with me. And I respect everybody equally. But I'd rather me be the bad guy, because I know that I can take it quite well. I can take it on the chin. But the discussion that we had with regards to the most recent toxicity we had, it involved 10 admins and yourself as well, G. There was 10 of us discussing this, and it wasn't just a 5-minute chat where it was like, we hate this person, let's get rid of them. It was a discussion where we was like, we like this person, we know this
love this person.
Yeah. And there was just, I don't know, there was just a lot against this person, and it wasn't good. What this person was doing wasn't good. And it wasn't a case of we just willy-nilly had half an hour chat, had a laugh, and went, yeah, right, and this is what we'll do. There was just debates, and sometimes there's arguments between us, like, because we all have different views on how things should be handled. But ultimately, the reason why G was in there is because G's sort of like the deciding vote if we can't come to an agreement. But this was that bad that 10 admins all came to the same agreement. Like, there was no which way that we could look at what had happened and go, yeah, but maybe it was this or maybe it was that. There was only one way that this was happening, and it was bullying. It was plain and simple, open and shut. It was bullying, and we don't tolerate that, because like Paul, like yourself, a lot of people do suffer with anxiety and depression, and you know, we can't just completely shield one person or another. But if there's that one person bullying somebody, we need to stop that one person from bullying others. You know, there's been, you know, times where the toxicity has been so rife with a person and they've been a real big part of the community. I'm going back like a couple of years now, and there was somebody who was a very big part of the community, and I remember G having sort of like a battle of his own morals. He was like, what do I do? Because lots of people like this person, you know, and they're going to hate me. And I think I said to him, I was like, you can either be the villain and let everybody know the ins and outs of everything that's happened, and people will, you know, call you a scumbag for outing that person and not letting them have their say, or you can hide it from everybody, and in which case everybody's going to make their own narrative and you're going to be the villain. And that's what happens with the admin team, because we don't think that you know, Paul, yourself, we don't think you need to be involved in these discussions. We don't think you need to know the ins and outs. We don't think anybody needs to know the ins and outs apart from those directly involved. So we decided not to tell everybody what happened. You know, there'll be the odd case where, I mean, somebody's come to me and said, oh, what's happened with this person? And I've given them a blanket overview of what's happened. I won't say directly who was involved, because it's not on me to tell them what they've done to affect certain people. It's not fair. I'm not going to be like, oh, you said this and hurt so-and-so's feelings, it's all their fault. I'm not going to do that. It's a blanket overview, and, you know, they can take it or leave it. At the end of the day, this isn't a discussion we've had for 5 minutes and gone, yeah, we don't like this person, let's just fuck them off. This is a discussion where we've gone in depth of everything this person has done. And, you know, just because you drop an EB doesn't mean you get the rights to be a bully. No, it fucking doesn't. But we're not going to openly blast you to 15,000 people. So that's where, you know, you get these sort of groups of people who start hating the community because we've upset one of their own. But they don't see the full picture of what we see, because we hide it, because we're not here to change anybody's judgments of people. We're here to make sure people are having fun and are enjoying their gaming community, and that is it. So let them make their own narratives. We're going to have walkouts and we're going to have big issues, but we'll always come back from it. But the one thing we will always do is keep it from the community, because the only people that are ever involved in it are the only people that are ever involved in it. 15,000 people aren't. They don't need to be. It's not a fucking gossip hut. This is a gaming community, right? But
100%.
we do get a lot of fucking stick. They just think we do things willy-nilly, and like we have no reasoning behind everything we do. But we do. We do.
It's just to add to what you're saying, it's because like we've trialed it through the whole course of this. We've trialed letting the team members know. We've done a community post before when we were very small. We've trialed the best way to do this, and we learned.
You got shit for it.
I got proper shit for it. And I think the best thing to do is just do it how we do it. Deal with it in-house. Deal the punishment that's needed. Make sure it's agreed among all your admins. Obviously, I'm there to make the final decision if there's no agreement. Because there has been decisions where admins have been split. There has been. It's been hard decisions. It's been decisions where some admins haven't been able to get involved, because one of the roles of us an admin is, when we're doing these decision-making processes, is that we've got to keep ourselves and our personal feelings out of it. And sometimes admins feel like they can't, so they've got to withdraw from the situation. And there's been decisions I've had to make where I knew that would annoy more of my admins as such. And it's hard. It is very hard. And I'm trying to think where I was going to head with this now. But it's just it's good to hear what you're saying there, because I don't think people really understand what goes into it, and that's where I was going. Like we decided we're going to deal with it. There ain't going to be no community announcement. We're not highlighting the fact, because at the end of the day, we're here to make friendships. And if this person has been toxic and we've got to ban this person, or this person decides to leave because of a decision, we still have right to have the friendships they've made within this community, right?
Yeah.
And and that's fine. And at the end of the day, we need to look after our community, but we're not here to change anyone's judgments. And I think that's very important. We've never tried to do that. We have lost 3 Xbox clans in a decision we've made before now. We you know, and It's just how it is. At the end of the day, did we fight that? No. If that's what you feel, half of them came back. But if that's what you feel you want to do, if that's you want to follow that person, then that's fine. I'm not going to try and stop you following them. I'm looking after this community. I remember early days, and I was told it must have been around about 500 members. We were that small, and my advice was no community can grow on your values. You can't be this inclusive. You can't have a big community that involves people with mental health issues and people with autism. And he said you will not grow. Well, we're 15,000 and I've not changed my values one bit. So of all the toxicity and the decisions we made, the 3 Xbox clans we lost, everything we've lost, we keep on growing because of how we manage this community, in my opinion. And I felt, as Paul's already said, and people in chat are saying, like, people don't know what goes on because we keep it all in closed doors. I think that's definitely the route to take. I think you need to know, we're always open when people ask us questions. I had a question asked to me just a couple of days ago. I forgot who it was now, but what happened in this recent situation, and we're quite open about it in private conversations. We are open if people ask about us, but it doesn't need to be in at everyone to 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And we've never done that.
Trouble is, if you start doing that, it detracts from the reason that we're here. I mean, I didn't subscribe to the channel to have a permanent episode of Jerry Springer on the go. I subscribed to play games and make friends. And what you said about the point with autism, we took someone through, I think it was a raid or a legendary about 6 months ago, who was terrified to join in. And he did, and he didn't speak a lot, but he didn't need to. And he did what he wanted to do, and it was great, because if he'd have gone into just an LFG group, then God knows how he would have been treated. And I think we should all be very proud of ourselves for the community spirit that we uphold.
100%. I'm very proud of this community. I'm very proud of the admins. And like, just to go on again about the recent incident where Penny said 10 admins was involved, like, if you count the man hours that went into that, or the woman hours, man and woman hours that went into that, you're talking a week or more. Like, there was so much discussion. It was such a hard decision. Like, they're the hardest ones, when something comes up and you really love that person and they've done so much for the community, so much. Like, you've got to forget what they've done for the community and you've got to go back to basics. What are our values? What are our rules? Now, obviously, what they've done for the community stands for something. And I've pissed Penny off before with decisions I've made. So, I mean, it's hard. I pissed loads of people off with decisions I've made. But you do need to take into account what they've done for the community. But at the same time, you can't let them get away with their actions at all. And this person did not get banned. Penny mentioned bullying. They did not get banned. They got every chance for what they did to rebuild themselves with this community. We are fair as well. We're very fair. We're probably too fair. But at the same time, I just want people to know that as well. We are very fair in our decision making. If you have given a lot to this community, we do value that because that's very important. But at the same time, you can't just go around and bully people because you've done all that,
Yeah,
and
sure.
it took us so long to reach that decision. It wasn't just a yes or no. I think the worst one for me was like, because I haven't really been that involved in the last year. You guys do it all, but early days, I've had times where, like, I've had a head admin that's at the point of all this toxicity, and I've had to let go of admins, and I don't know, they're all bad to a degree. Is there anything else you want to add to what you said, Penny?
With regards to us all being sort of like taking our bias away, like, everybody needs to understand that the admins that we've got are incredible, and you've always had good admins. I'm not going to say you haven't. Like, they've left because they've grown badly, but they've always been impartial. Like, even to the point I was struggling with the community at one time, and with how close me and G are, you'd expect G to just wave his banhammer and save me because we're so close. But that's not fair on that person. Like, it could just be a he said she said situation. We later learned it wasn't a he said she said situation, but there wasn't enough to go on. So we don't go on like minor bits of information. It's not something where we're like, oh, this is minor bit of information, let's throw a ban at it. Like, we're all the same. We pull ourselves away if we're too close to it, you know, just to make things as fair for everybody, so there can't be any, well, they don't like me, why were they involved in my discussion? That's never happened, ever. You've got some good admins, always have been.
No, 100%. It's the best admin team I've ever had. But yeah, we've always had good admins. And I think another point worth mentioning is that none of you do get paid. I know you joke about it, but I barely make enough money to keep myself full time. You know, it's like we're a long way off being able to pay these people for what they do. And what they do in their own time is absolutely incredible. It's so sad to see sometimes in the community people having pops at you. I've saw it. I've deleted the messages. It's so sad to see you guys just get thrown. I don't know. There's been some abuse I've seen towards the admin team. It's so sad to see, knowing what you guys do and the hours you spend managing these real complaints. And there's been some big ones, but we're quiet most of the time because the community is very, very, behaves the word. You guys really do.
You know what?
You're so respectful.
You know as well as I do that saying it's quiet is a fucking.
It's probably just made something happen. Yeah, tomorrow the admins are going to be busy.
I've done it now.
I've done it now.
Honestly, it's an unwritten rule that if any one of the head admins goes, it's been quiet around here lately. Nah.
Nah.
It don't last.
If something happens.
We lose plans, we lose members, all because of those words. So thanks for that, G.
It's been quiet lately. You said it the other day, the admin chat. You know, you started it. You said it's been quiet. It has been quiet though. It has been quiet lately. But it's nice when it's quiet. I think the community just works. It gets worse when we have our booms. We are talking before about a boom coming up. The Division 2 is about to get busy. We're going to have that boom. And you get a lot of members that don't understand what the community is about. A lot of members are coming from different communities where toxicity is allowed to a degree. And then all of a sudden, they're in our community where we don't allow any form of toxicity, you know, and those people struggle. And we, you know, it doesn't get to admin level, just the odd bit of toxicity. It's at a moderator level, you know, everybody gets a chance or two. But yeah, they're the times where we certainly get tried as an admin team, though, when they do push that further. Was there anything else you two want to add around toxicity within the community before we move on to Q&As?
I
don't think so, thanks. Sorry, my cat's come to join us now.
I was going to say, I can see a cat's tail.
If you're wondering what this is,
see his
I
tail.
haven't got some weird feather duster on the go or anything.
I do want to add one thing to anybody who is watching, who is part of the community. If you see something you don't like, the admins, none of us are horrible, scary people. We're not big bad wolves. I'm sorry, Mackie's messaging me because he is in. He's messaging me.
He's in chat. I'm trying not to read chat too much because we're doing a podcast after this as well. So I thought I got to keep the conversation flowing and I'll talk with the chat. So sorry, guys, but I am seeing your messages.
Yeah, we're not big bad scary people, you know. We're humans like you. You know, if you're having problems, come to us, talk to us. But also bear in mind that if a friend of yours has been banned and you think that we've done the wrong thing, trust me, we probably haven't. Like, we look into this like very deeply, and if we think that a decision has been made incorrectly, then we look into it very deeply and decide whether or not that decision has been made incorrectly or correctly. Like, everything is fine, trust me. Just don't believe the hype, all right? just believe us. We're good people.
It is true. That's a good point to touch on before we finish the conversation, because like when we do ban people or someone's had a bad experience or a bad outcome from an admin decision, they obviously don't take it well, you know, and a lot of these people have their own following, rightfully so. You know, we pushed them in the community, the big members of the community sometimes that we have to make these decisions on. Like I said, we lost 3 clans on Xbox once, you know, that was a huge following these people had. And it was like, just if there's anything you heard and you're unsure, ask us. Always ask for our side, because if they're sharing their side, we have our side as well. And we might not highlight it in everyone's because we don't want to. We've discussed that. But if you come to us and ask us about it, we'll certainly share our side. For sure.
We're not scary, horrible people. Honestly.
We're not. You know, there's reasoning behind every decision we make, and most decisions we make, there's 10 people involved. It's not just You know,
10 people was just the minimum that I could have because I could add more people into that fucking chat. But we've got a lot of admins that are usually involved. Like all of the admins are generally involved. But in this one instance, it felt like a sensitive topic that was privately made in a 10-man room, and it was 10 people. But we're good people. We are good people.
We are good people, and we try our best. We have reversed decisions in the past as well. Like when we were a bit smaller, there was a few decisions made probably in jest or anger, and then months down the line, someone's come back and said, "Can I be a part of your community again?" It's been kind of like, "Oh yeah," because we were a bit of a dick. But that was when we were smaller. That with how big we've grown now, like it is very political. You know, we can't make decisions without taking it to a debate. We argue with each other.
We have
sometimes, like me and Penny have been on the phone arguing with each other. Like it's how it is, and we never fall out. It's business. That's how we kind of see it, isn't it? You know, it's a community. You know, after that chat's done, we're best friends again. But we put so much into it.
They are not fun chats to be a part of. Like,
no.
I'm so sorry. I can't stress enough. Like, we lock horns sometimes, all of us. Like, we sometimes have to take a break from these conversations because they get so heated. I need to mute. I'm sorry.
We just get Discord notifications.
That's really interesting to know from a sort of community member point of view. I just presumed that if anything needed dealing with, either Penny or Spud or anybody deal with it on their own. So to know that there is a process involved is really good. Because obviously,
the
community
keeps it all fair, doesn't it?
People, right? It can't. What I might think is the right thing might not be the right thing. So I need to have like a majority decision discussion. It needs to be. Because what I think might be something different to what G thinks, to what Spud thinks, to what J-Dub thinks, because he's American, he might see things differently to me. It's nice to have a big picture of everything and to have a better understanding. But as I said, the discussions do get heated with the admins. They do. Like,
they do.
These aren't easy decisions we come to. They are horrible and they are hard. Like,
no one enjoys it. No one enjoys it at all.
We're not sitting around having a cup of tea with some biscuits and having a good old laugh over it. Like, we are close to screaming, slanging matches at each other. Like, they're not fun.
Not even a hobnob, though.
No, not even a hobnob. If anything, the hobnobs get launched at one another. It does. Like, you can just feel the tension between the admins when there's like disagreement in what they're seeing. And it's like, G is essentially there to go, shut the fuck up.
Well, you had me many times, and you're just like, this is gonna have split opinions. If we can't get a unanimous decision here, you're gonna have to decide. Most of the time, fair play. We have our debates. We say what's got to be said, but this is why you're all admins and why you're all picked. You know, normally after everyone's said what they've got to say, everyone kind of follows suit, like, and decides, actually, yeah, you're right. There's a point you get to where it's like, you know what, you're right, and that. I'm going to say 99 times out of 100, it is a unanimous decision. It's very rare that it stays split and I've had to be the one to make a decision. That's very rare. Very rare. But it has been.
Listen.
But
I think that's what's good about the admin team is everybody listens to everybody's input. And again, we might get a little bit, horn locking with one another, but we do take everything each person says on board, and we come to agreements that make sense for all of us, not just one of us, and that's the way toxicity is handled.
That is how toxicity is handled. It takes hours. It's a full-time job, and no one gets paid for it. So please respect our admins. Is what we're getting to. They do such a good job. Thank you all so much. They really do. Like, I had to step away from it. It's that hard job. I could not do it anymore. It was taking over YouTube. They do such a good job. Anything else before we move on to Q&A?
I'm good.
Don't think so, no.
We good? So live chat, watching this live. If you got any questions for Paul, myself, or Penny, or as a whole, you can post it. I see Totes is the last message there. Anything after Totes, I'll look at. Thank you for the super chat as well. New membership, really appreciate it. But we've got a few supporters. So with these Q&As, we will prioritize supporter questions. We put a channel out on the supporter server for supporters. I did an everyone earlier. Anyone want any questions for stream later? And we've got a few. So we're going to start with a few of these while you get your questions in chat. I'm obviously going to take serious ones. Well, in fact, let's start with it. Paul, where did your cat go?
She got annoyed. She's just gone off somewhere. I
Bring
don't
the
know.
cat back.
Chloe. No, she's not having any of it.
So the first one is Nemesis. Here's one. I'm gonna put this question to Penny first, and then Paul, and I'll answer it. I said I was doing this. So Nemesis says, it's a good question. I like it. Where do you see this community in a year from now, and what changes, improvements will you be making in the short or long term to keep the community interested and engaged with each other?
Well, I hate to break it to you all, in 6 months' time, I'm probably going to delete the server. Oh, G's laughing because he knows I might be sick. No, I'm joking. Well, we're already like trying to implement more. So the feedback channel has recently just changed, where we're going to listen to the community a lot more, listen to what the community want and what they don't want, essentially. Because when it comes down to it, I don't use this community, as bad as that sounds. I just make sure it's how you want it to be, you know? So we've implemented the feedback so we can see what people want, and we want to obviously keep the community engaged. It's why you might get a lot of everyone's. It's why the channels are constantly changing. We're bringing events. I think we've got a TCT one coming up. I'm looking forward to it anyway. But it's really just, it's honestly, we don't have like a 10-year plan. Like there's no 10-year plan. Like we come up with these things as we go, what we think would be good and engaging and things like that. I don't think at any point this community is going to die. I think this community will go from strength to strength, especially with Heartlands. With regards to Heartlands, we'll probably bring in a new channel for people to link up with people. Maybe a clips channel for Heartlands, because people are going to post funny shit on it, right? Like funny clips and just stuff like that. Ultimately, it's the community's job to stay engaged with one another. Like, I can't force people to talk, but I do hope that the feedback channel gets used not for suggestions to allow the word dickhead. Yeah, I did see that.
Good enough.
But hopefully it gets used, and people, because a lot of the channels that we've got have come from the community. Like, we haven't thought of these; it's been the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had somebody ask about a face reveal. I mean, if G gets 100,000 subs, maybe you get a face reveal.
Yeah, that's a good way to get me there, Penny. I like it.
100,000 subs, you get a Penny face reveal.
Yeah, I like it. You heard it here first. Someone clip it.
You know what? I'm not going to be happy if you hear 100,000 subs before I get my hair done.
It'd be a while. Paul, same question to you. As a member, as a team member, as a Team GC member, where do you see this? Same question. Do you need it repeating?
No, it's a great question. I think the next 6 months is going to be so exciting. Like Penny said, we've got Heartlands coming out, we've got fresh Div 2 content, hopefully. We've got some possibly other things happening, isn't there, with like the mobile games. So I think there's going to be a lot more community involvement, especially like with Heartlands. I say a lot of people are going to be wanting to play that. So it'd be great if we could really push that. And obviously your content as well will keep drawing people in. I'm really looking forward to some of the events. I think a lot of the events that have been run in the past, maybe not everyone can get involved in, because it requires some level of technical mastery, which I certainly do not have. So it'd be nice to have like an event that newer players, or not so much the speedrunners of the world, can get involved in. So I'm really looking forward to that.
This is an event that a lot of people can and will be getting involved with.
Okay.
We've tailored it to be focused on everybody and not just the minority.
Which one you on about?
The one, the
Because there's
4
two on the works. The 4 and 4.
the 4 and 4 one, yeah.
4 and 4. Yeah.
Ooh,
Good.
sounds
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yeah, so of just going off a little bit, but the events, we were getting big on them. I'm obviously at the forefront of it all, and how busy I get. It was meant to be last month, wasn't it, Penny, or this month, and I had to cancel it. And
You had
it's
things going on.
yeah. We'll get there. Definitely, events are a thing we want to do. We've had great events in the past, even though, like you said, they've been for people that were gifted, say, or good speedrunners. And we do want to open it up to more. We got 2 great ideas. One, in fact, one is kind of limiting. The other one is very open, though. Like anybody can get involved in the other one, and that will be first. We do have events, and I can't
It's all
wait to get stuck
exciting.
in.
Awesome.
So
It's a big thing, and we want to do that. And just to answer it myself, that question, just basically echo what you said. Like our community has always been controlled by the division. I'm a division channel. I'm a division content creator, right? So how well the division does is how well we do, which annoys me when people say the division is dead, because it really fucking isn't. Okay. Like honestly, just look at us, because it's all we do, and we've grown this much. And
Gee, what are you drinking, Paul? What's that?
Blackcurrant squash.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
I had too much of the hard stuff last night. I can't. No.
So like it's always been division related. So over the next 12 months, I need to try and I want to do more community stuff, which is what we're doing now with this. I tried breaking into Twitch with different games, but I don't have the time for that. So we're now going the podcast route and see what we could do with podcasts as well as YouTube. And podcast does open up more. I want to try and come away from the division without losing anything on the division, just to try and push growth in a different way. Because can we always depend on the division? For the next 12 to 24 to even 72 months, yes, we can. But one day, we might not be able to. So we do need to think about that, you know? And it is something that's on our mind. I wouldn't expect too much change in the next 12 months. But what I would say in the next 12 months is the Division is releasing Heartland. It is releasing a Division 2 update, which is probably going to be a huge expansion. We do have the mobile game. We have the Division movie. We have a novel coming out. This place is going to absolutely boom like we've never seen before. I guarantee it. So be excited for that. We did. Me and Penny discussed a lot, and you know, just be ready for that. Like 20,000 community members by the end of the year is what Night Violator said in January, and I said he was smoking something. But he was right, you know, and he was right. We're already nearly at 15,000 members just over midway through the year. And we haven't had an update on the division since November, which is our biggest driving force. We're growing just short of 1,000 members per month at the minute in the community, and just under 1,000 subs per month on the channel as well. Like that growth, considering we've had no update on the division, just shows how busy the division actually still is. And with all these updates coming, it's just exciting times ahead for sure. So the next 12 months is going to be very much focused on what we've been doing, the division updates, looking at podcasts, and how we can extend this community outside of the division, which we've already started with Destiny. Destiny is doing great. Big shout out to English, Strudel, and Dragonfire for the admins, what they're doing there. But yeah, that's the next 12 months, basically. Are we ready for the next question? Does anyone else have anything to add?
No.
Fire away, Sensei.
So I'd like to have a look at it, because I'm not, but Recon in chat has asked, where'd you get that mug from, Paul? Where's that mug? I missed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure which one it's on about. We'll start with, it's like Sheldon Cooper's Fun with Mugs, isn't it? This is my, if you can just play a little theme tune, G, to accompany my first mug. This is from Disney in Orlando.
Yeah, love it.
Mickey's coffee mug. And just in case there's inquiring about the other one, that is a San Miguel pub liberated from the local pub.
Liberated! He stole it! Liberated! Liberated! No.
So that is my my drinkware collection for this evening.
Mimi has a question, and I like this question. How many admins are there? Can you shout them out if you haven't already? Penny.
Yeah, of course I can. I know all my admins. What do you mean? Why do you
Go
think
on.
I don't know my admins? Okay, so we'll start with. Well, we'll start with the head admins. Yeah,
Yeah.
Strudel, Knight, and Paul. We got the head admins. Myself, G's obviously the founder. We've got TJ, the community admin. TSW channel admins, we have 2 of them because of how intensive the channel admin is. It's Dragonov and Padster. We have 2 social media admins because they're sort of like, it's all under the same umbrella, the TSW social side. So we've got Kedri and recently joined the team Bob. Bob's helping with a lot of maintenance stuff. Clan admin, Father Time. TCT admin, we've got Highlander.
You were so go through the same list that I'm going through, by the way. Sorry.
Nobody needs to know. There's just so many admins.
There is.
I'm just looking at the list and I'm reading off the names. I'm not actually looking at it.
That's all I was going to do.
Destiny admins, we've got Dragonfire and English. We have an Outriders admin role, but we don't have an Outriders.
Yeah, Outriders is probably going to be deleted from our community in that respect.
Yeah, it's too broken, right?
That was just in case it was going to be big, but it's not.
Then your platform admins, which is Azzy on PC, Mr. Sifter on PlayStation, and JDub on Xbox. And Spud, who's our moderator admin.
Hey, we love Spud.
Good, Spud.
It's a lot of admins, but it's a big community and we have a lot going on. We've got, it's not just community admins, is it? Like TJ was brought in to like be the manager of admins to keep them all linked and to like help with, guidelines and stuff, their own sort of like job roles, as to say. It's not a job, but you know what I'm saying. So that's what the community admin was for, and she kind of like helps and supports everywhere. And that took some pressure off the head admins, so not everything came to the head admins. And then every admin position has its place, and it works, which is what's important. And when we have... It is a well-oiled team. And when we have big decisions, we all work together as one. So all those names, when we have a big decision to make, everyone's opinions matter, I know we only recently brought 10 of them in for a recent decision, but we felt we didn't want to make it. There's just some people we didn't felt need to be involved. But yeah, it's... It was a very sensitive subject. But yeah, generally... everyone's involved in the decision there, and they all get involved. There's hours they spend getting evidence, screenshots, discussing with people, or whatnot, any info they can get. That their hands are everywhere. That amount of admins, that amount of friends they've got, they can get any information we need. That's the idea as well. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and they all do a great job. Thank you very much. And there's teams below that as well. Like our team structure is huge.
Yeah, so the admins, they all have their own teams, essentially, right? That's how it's meant to
pretty
work.
Much. Pretty much. It's insane. It's insane size. So we've covered that. I'm going to go back to a supporter question. So we've covered a bit in chat. In fact, one more in chat I can answer very quickly. When do you expect to get the flawless stream? Question for G. We should have freaking had it already. Like, seriously, PlayStation, what are you doing? Like, we should have had it. PC should have had it. Xbox Underdog should have had it. I'm saying next time. The next week we do raids after a break, a little bit of a break, we're going to get it. And I think it's going to go PlayStation. Although, if it doesn't, definitely Xbox. They were solid last time out. Or it's just never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. We might just give it up because something just keeps happening. I'm just quickly running through some of the chat other questions. In fact, chat, I've got to DAC 9 next Wednesday. If there's any more questions, can you post them after that? I'm going to go to a supporter question. So we went with Nemesis. Nemesis had another question for us. Here's another. Will there be opportunities other than this to have interaction, what we're doing now, to have interaction with the admin team? Most of the community only really react with them once in a blue moon, and I'm sure some of them may like the interaction on a more frequent basis. Now, I have an answer for this, but first I'm going to go Penny. Obviously, this is directed for me and Penny. Penny, what's your answer to that?
I mean, I think I interact with the community quite a bit. right, I say community. I'm very much about my TSW family, so I interact in. You will find me more often than not in the TSW one clan section. I will talk there more than anything. If I'm looking to fill a raid or use the LFGs, I'll pop into hub chat to welcome people. But I'm in there quite often. What do you mean? He's definitely on about the other admins. I'm gonna tell him all that after this.
Well, here's my answer to it, and it's a good question because I know this is the feedback we've been getting. We want more interaction. We want to see more of Penny. Penny's a superstar. There's been loads of feedback, and you really want more interaction from us. And this is why we're doing this. So you got to look at it from our perspective of what we discussed today, especially from an admin front. You know, they deal with so much behind the scenes. It's like a job. They don't get paid for it. They have real life jobs. They have families. You know, they just want a game as well. It's so hard to do everything they're doing, and then also, I've also got to interact with everybody. As mad as that sounds, like it's not an expectation at all. It's an expectation on me. So what I will do is these every 2 weeks, we'll bring an admin in, like Penny today. We'll bring Night Violator in another day. We'll bring Paul in. We'll bring Strudel in. We'll bring Highlander in. All the admin Spud. We're always going to have an admin or higher team member in multiple times. This ain't going to be Penny's only appearance, you know. And we will have chats. We'll answer your questions. We'll talk about things. I try and get some admins involved in anything that I do. TJ's a big part of what I do. Penny's a big part of what I do. Spud now on Xbox as well. Bob, he's on PC. That helps a lot. There's more admins to get involved with what I do. Sorry. I'm sure there probably is.
There is so many.
There is, and we try to get them involved in the streams. Night Violator in the past has been. We do try and put them on, you know, up front on the streams as much as we can as well. We try our best. We know we can do better, which is why we're doing this. We're going to see how this goes. We've got a PG Tips podcast series coming. Which is gonna hopefully feed the Penny craving. I'm looking forward to that. I really am. There's more we can do with podcasts. I'm actually quite excited with what we could do with podcasts. So for people wanting extra, that's the route, because you know, my YouTube channel's like we've tested it, haven't we, Penny, the last 6 months. I'm very much glued to the Division because of how YouTube works, and not everybody that you want to see in streams is playing a Division. So it's hard, you know. It's really
PG
hard
Tips
in that aspect. PG Tips is going to be great. Podcasts we could do a lot with for sure, and we'll get more ideas. It's a good question. But yeah, I think you support us as well, that support through channel memberships and Patreon. That's what we're going to work on in the next set of perks, as to say. We've always had these perks that have never fucking worked. I'm not going to lie. Like, I always set up perks, and you're just supporting because you want to. It's so hard to reward you for the support, but it's going to be much more around involvement. I got a good idea. We're going to is to do around these podcasts, just get you more involved in this. Like today, reading your questions out as priority, or maybe helping with what we discuss on these. Or PG Tips is all about me and Penny discussing stuff. What conversations do you want to hear? And we're going to get more involved with stuff like that. So we're trying. We're trying. Moving on, there's another good question. This is Division related, from Robbo. He said, if there's any room for Division questions, which there always is, I'd like your honest opinion on, do you think there will be a Division 3? What content will you think will come to Division 2? It's obviously a long-term thing. So in short term, as Nem said, what are the plans of force to keep the community active or interested? So we answered that. So the question is just, do you think there'll be a Division 3 and what content will come to the Division 2? I'm going to start that question with you, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, Division 2, I'm really excited about. I think I don't really know what is going to come, because nor does anybody really at the moment. But what I would like to see is another huge expansion, maybe not even in America this time, maybe in London or Russia or anywhere really. So it would be quite awesome. I'd love to see another raid. I think I enjoy raiding, and it's pretty much all I do at the moment in game. But it would be great to have a third or even a fourth raid on the go. I'd like to see some more challenging missions, because there's only 3 legendaries at the minute, and they get a bit boring, don't they, once you've done them. And then Division 3, I can see one coming because it is a very successful franchise. but I can't see it coming for at least another year or so. If they're planning a big drop of content on Div 2 still.
100%. Penny?
Yeah, what?
Division 2, what content do you think's coming Division 3? Do you think it'll happen?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I think I'm the same as Paul. I think there will be more raids, because I'm sure they promised us more raids. But that could just be me having wishful thinking, right? Maybe.
Well, there's apparently 4 that they had planned.
Yeah, because they were meant to have. I was always under the assumption 4 raids, 4 factions, right? Hyenas, True Sons, Black Tusk, and Outcast. I always assumed that. I wouldn't mind seeing like a cleaner raid, because I really like the cleaners. With regards to Division 3, I seen something today or yesterday on Twitter that they are advertising for somebody to work with a Snowdrop engine on a new project for Ubisoft, which sounds a lot to me like Division 3. They're getting somebody in to work on a new game that they're making. And everything points to Division 3, if I'm being honest. So I think there will be a Division 3. I'm, again, with Paul, I love the idea of it coming to London. I think it would be incredible. Just because it's home for us, right? I think that's what it would be. Like, oh my God, I've been here.
Incredible. And they've done London before, Ubisoft. Ubisoft like London. Watch Dogs recently.
Bring it to London. Do it, Ubi.
So, 100%. There's going to be a Division 3. If anyone thinks there's not going to be a Division 3, I've got a question, like, how would you think that? The game's so popular. The franchise, Division 1 was such a success, it broke Ubisoft records. Division 2 broke Ubisoft records. Even with the Division not having an update since November, there's a Division channel on YouTube growing 1,000 subs a month. There's people still playing it, is what I'm saying. Like, there's such a hardcore fan base. It would be the most stupidest thing in the world not to continue it. They've just announced content for the Division 2. They've announced Heartland. They've announced a novel. They've got a film coming out. They've got a mobile game coming out. They're investing in this franchise. There is 100% going to be a Division 3 announcement probably in 2022 or 2023. It's going to happen. They've got big jobs going on. They've got Avatar, they've got Star Wars, they're extending the team because they've just had a lot of people leave Massive, which has been talked about a lot. I don't think they're quite happy with I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. People have left though, some big people. So there's definitely some people not happy with the changes being made, but one thing's for certain is the Division franchise is not dying at all.
No.
So Division 3 will be a thing. In terms of Division 2 content, all I know is that Yannick said there's a lot they want to do. We can go by the last expansion. The last expansion included a raid, even though it was delayed. It included a new map, a new quest line, new exotics, new gear. I'd expect similar. I'd expect a new raid, new map, maybe new quest line. They definitely said there's going to be a brand new game mode coming to Division 2. So whatever that is, I thought that I don't want to spoil anything. So I always say this. I know what Heartland is, but they've not officially said it, and I know a lot of you do know. And what Heartland is what I thought the Division 2 was going to be, that new mode. So it's not going to be that. So I have no idea what that new mode's going to be now, because Heartland is that, which really excites me because I'm getting what I wanted plus a new mode. And there's got to be a new raid. Surely they've got to be a new raid. And the fact that they said it was coming out like towards the back end of the year, it's now going to be like right at the back end, December, maybe even like January time. So they've had a lot of time to work on this as well. So I'd expect big. I'd be expecting to pay for an expansion as well. Maybe a level 50. If they do a level 50, they've got to do a Destiny and let us upgrade the gear through resources, not refarming. Anyone that plays Destiny, you know what I mean? You can just upgrade your gear with a new piece, nice and easy. But yeah, definitely. New raid. I'd like to know your thoughts on what you think the new mode's going to be, because I have no idea. They say it's going to be brand new to the franchise, something the franchise has never seen before. Moving on, I've got one last question from a supporter, and I'm just quickly looking in the chat to close this off now. We've gone over the hour. Tote says, no, it's okay. There's no time limit. Because we're doing this in podcast form as well, we just don't want to keep it going on for hours and hours. But there's no real time limit. Tote says, have you decided that Saturday is now going to be official dedicated PvP stream. No, but I'm definitely going to be doing more PvP. I enjoyed last night's Totes. I want to do more PvP. Running out of PvE builds, so we're moving to PvP builds, and I'll be trying them out in streams. Why are only TSW clan members are mod or admin? Penny. That's from Grunning. Why is that? I don't think there's any reason, is there? I think it's just how it's worked.
It stemmed from when we were a lot smaller. We felt like if they weren't carrying the TSW logo, and I think this is still the same, like I don't mean this horribly, if you're carrying the TSW logo, you stand for everything that we're about, right? And there's only so much we can do if you're in a different clan. Like, and I think that's where it comes from. We've tried to include more different clans in TCT, for example. Like, we've now opened it to the whole community rather than just TSW, because another thing. No, I know the answer.
Oh,
Just hit her.
You didn't. You didn't want to feel like you were benefiting from other people's clans, which is, I think, is a fair shout. It's a fair argument. You, like, this is what you've built. You don't want to feel like you're taking advantage of other people. I can't explain it well. This was when it was TCT, though.
I know, it's hard, isn't it? It's a hard question. That's why I pushed it onto you. I don't think we actually look at somebody and say, "Are they TSW?" Oh, you can't be a mod, though. I don't think that's ever a thought process. No. I just think that most of our loyal community members are TSW members. And a good point that Penny made as well, like, if you're going to be in a mod position or an admin position or higher up, I'd like to think that you're fully committed to the community. And although we're not a clan community, it's not a clan. It's an open community to all. But the clan's a huge part, and we're proud of it. So,
absolutely.
I just feel we're always going to pick. Like, I think if there's two people to pick from, and one has dedicated themselves to our clan as well as the community, that person's going to win over someone who's just dedicated themselves to the community. As harsh as that sounds. But it's not ever a decision, oh, they're not TSW, they can't be. Like,
I don't think we've ever had...
Never had that discussion. Yeah. No, never had that discussion.
Yeah. I don't think anybody from an outside clan has ever applied to be a moderator.
I think they have, to be fair.
They can't be clan leads because they're not in our clan, but
no.
Generally the people who stick out to us the most are people who are in the clans, who understand the community and what it's about for them and really want to get both feet in, like Paul. Paul stands out because he's part of this family and he wants to be a part of this family, whereas a lot of people are just here for the LFG, and that's fine. That's what our community is for. We're here to help people. Everybody help everybody. But when you've got the likes of Paul, who is making himself that known and wearing the TSW badge with pride and honor, like, he's going to stick out. I don't mean to be horrible to anybody, but Paul is going to stick out from...
But they are.
Well, I'm 25 stones, so I'd be hard not to, wouldn't I?
Well, you're right though. You get more involved with the community when you get to the clan side of it. A good example I like to use is someone that recently came back to the community, Max. He was part of TSW, he was a TSW clan admin at one point, and he fell out of love with the division, left the clan, left the community, but we tried everything to keep him on as admin, I think, like, there's more you can do than just start. Like, we didn't want him to go just because he weren't going to be part of the clan no more. Like, it's not, like, it's never a decision based on if you're TSW or not. I just feel that most of the people that come up for these roles have put a lot in, and they're obviously part of the clan as well. And most admin roles, we select. We don't really advertise admin roles as such. We do with a few, but we pick them because of what we've seen.
We generally advertise the admin roles sort of in-house to the team, like just because they prove themselves to be sensible and to be loyal and nice people, and we know that they're not toxic. We know them a lot more. There's a lot of people for us to know. So, yeah. But we see them a lot more because they're like the moderators of the community. Like, we see them all the time. But you
Definitely.
can't not see them. Sometimes I just don't want to see anyone, and I just can't help it because you're always there, especially you four.
Next question. We're going to quickly go through these now. Ramsey, are you guys willing to try out new game genres like Hell Let Loose? Or, well, with YouTube and how YouTube works, it's very hard to really push anything other than the Division. How YouTube works, if you don't know, is they'll go by what your current audience watches, first of all. So if I put a video out and loads of you don't watch it because it's a new game you're not interested in, they're not going to push it because they see it as a bad video. So that's why I got to stick to the Division, because you watch my Division videos, they see that you watch it, they think it's a good video, they push it. So it's very hard to branch out with new games. It's like starting again. I do, however, plan to play more games. There's a day before I want to do this. New World was really fun today. I wouldn't mind getting on that, but I've got to do that in addition to what I do in the Division. I tried Outriders and I did that as an extension. Didn't work. Anything I've tried as an extension doesn't work. As in like giving Division a break, working on something else for a bit. I've got to fit things in around a Division is what I've learned. Just because I do this full time, and if I don't do that, I'll have to find another job. Just how it is. It's like that. But definitely going to be different games coming to the channel for sure. Next question. They're saying London Div 3 is the real underground. People like London for Div 3. I did see another. Will Penny be nice to me if I come back, says Soul.
No.
She
does.
does.
Toxicity.
She does vote. I know, right? She does box and vote. Sorry, Vault of Glass when? Never, probably. I'm struggling to find time for Destiny right now. I won't lie. I think that's pretty much it from chat. Anyone who wants to be an admin has to love Penny. Not actually correct, to be fair. I think our admins that dislike Penny. Joking, Penny. But no, it's go on.
I don't care.
At the end of the day, we're human beings. We all like and dislike people.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You know, like it's just how it is. But one thing's for certain: we all have the community love at heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we can all be respectful to each other. So one more question then from the supporter, and it was Alpha Penfold, Sean Penfold. Is directed to me. What made you decide to be a streamer? And for Paul. So for me, I'll ask Paul's in a minute to end it. What made you decide to be a streamer is what Penfold asked me. I never really decided to be a streamer as such. Streaming was not a thing. I remember when I was younger, I was always involved in gaming communities, like I'm sure we all have been. It was trophy communities or whatnot, and I always thought I could do better. I didn't like the levels of toxicity. I struggled in them. Hated the toxicity, and I always thought I can make a community better than this. And we started when I was in my teens. I built a online forum. It was hard to build. I actually created YouTube as a secondary thing to push that forum, if that makes sense. And it was doing quite well. I got up to 10,000 subs on YouTube. The community was at 6,000 members. It was all right. It was all right. We were doing it. It was all based around trophy guides and stuff and trophies. And I got a promotion to manager or assistant manager in my job and gave it up because money. It was making no money whatsoever. And it was taking so much of my time. And to do that with growing in my job, I just couldn't do it. So I quit. So when I came back, I had a bad spell of life. I just need to fill my head with something just to keep me going. I thought, you know what? I'm having fun at the Division. Let's just start YouTube again. We uploaded a few toxic DZ videos to start the channel off. And then all of a sudden I started getting the urge for it. Those old urges came back, a growth. And I thought, it's serious. Started doing some guides, helped with survival. You guys loved it. And we're here today. And that's what I did because I had that vision in the past of making a non-toxic community. When I found some growth on YouTube, it's exactly what I pushed it into. I just pushed it into this non-toxic community. That's the biggest thing about it. So the thing I'm most proud of is this community, not the 30,000 subs, you know? That's just what I use to build this community. And it's going well. So I've got to take it serious, but this community before anything else, I absolutely love it. And Paul, how did you find TSW and what made you to decide to join the community? You may have covered this at the start, but to end again.
So it's just a video. I was struggling with something on Division 2. I can't remember what builds, I think. And someone pointed me towards YouTube. I didn't even realise I wasn't a big fan of YouTube before I started playing Div 2. and I found your build guide, and I just thought he sounds like a nice man. And you'd specifically mentioned about helping someone's lad who was being bullied. And I thought, it's just a community I'd like to get involved in, and it just grew from there, really.
Yeah, love it. I'm glad you joined us, Paul. You're a top guy. I've enjoyed playing with you recently as well.
Thank
He's
you.
so gentle, isn't he?
You are. It's glad to have you in today as well. When you messaged me, I was like,
I've really enjoyed it. Appreciate it. Thanks.
So to end this, because we're going to end it now, guys. We're going to end the Q&As there. We are going to be doing this in 2 weeks again with more guests, same sort of thing, different topic. Is there anything you guys want to say to end? Penny first.
Thanks for listening. Like, it's nice that you can hopefully understand where all of the admins come from now. I hope, and you don't hate us as much if we make some decisions that you disagree with. Just understand it's not easy for us. Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure.
Paul?
No, it has been a pleasure, and it's been nice to sort of see a bit more about what goes on sort of behind the scenes, because we don't really see a lot of that. And I think it's just testament to this community that although, I mean, all we've been doing is having a bit of a chat, but I don't know how many people have been watching the stream, but there's been a lot of live chat, a lot of people getting involved. And that's what this is all about, and long may it continue.
Well, it's funny you say that. I haven't looked because I've had it on Discord full screen. There's 82 people watching, which is insane.
Wow.
So yeah, I know it is the first one. We were so nervous about this. I don't know why. It just felt something different. But I know you guys have wanted it, which is why we're doing it, and we'll get better at it. We'll think of do feedback when we finish now. Any feedback you've got or any comments, put them in Community Hub. Tag us, let us know. We'd appreciate it. We want to make these better. We've been going for an hour and 43 minutes. We said it'd be about an hour long, but that's fine. There's no time limit on these. We are going to turn them into podcasts as well. So this will go out as our first podcast. And that's why we're not really talking to chat that much. We need to keep the conversation free flowing for a podcast. And I've had loads of tips off Milkman. Thank you, Milkman. But yeah, we appreciate the support of this tonight. It is about getting a bit behind the scenes. We're going to bring people in that can give you behind the scenes info. We're going to have topic every week. Today we started with toxicity because it's recent and current in the community. Something's happened recently. We wanted to discuss that. So if there's anything that happens, that's current, we'll always use that as a topic so we can share our side to it. That's what we're going to use this for as well. But also, if you're a supporter and you support the channel, you're in the supporter server, if there's any topics you think you'd like to hear us discuss, we're going to have that open soon. Feedback what topics you want us to discuss on these. Feedback what people you want to see in these as well. What team members do you want to see in these? What community members you want to see in these? A lot of people have already DM'd me. We're going to be going again in 2 weeks with a new topic, 2 new guests. And it's been great. Thank you. I can't believe how many of you watched tonight. It's been insane. But we're going to end it there. I think we've spoken off. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you.
You've been brilliant. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching the stream, everybody, and asking the questions. If you haven't hit like, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast, then this was live. Go and find us on YouTube by searching GCROCK and search this community we've been speaking about the whole stream. Search for GCROCK on Discord and you'll find us. We are discoverable. But we're going to end it there. Sorry I've not been that engaged in chat tonight, but we'll be live again tomorrow. We'll have a catch up then. Really appreciate the support of tonight's stream. Have a great night, guys. Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Peace out. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Stay tuned.